Okay, we're starting week 3. We have a test coming up this week. So I'm going to go back through the beginning of the course, kind of walk you through all the way through module 3, and then I'm going to cover the test. I'll go over the test, what do they call that, study guide. I go over it on the video. Okay, so this may be repeating. You need to be a citizen of your target market. You need to think critically. You need to be sure that you're checking to make sure the information you're being told is true. You validate it. I gave you a list here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I think 9 laws, right? Mucci's law, Patrick's law. Patrick law is the most important. Revenue certainty. All those laws are in there. You notice how this just rotated and screwed me all up. Okay. Respect-based management. Let's go over the profit and loss. Revenue, that's customers paying for a product or service. COGS, cost of goods sold, that's the product or service sold. That's the cost of producing the product. Gross margin is the difference between revenue and cost of goods sold. SG&A, sales general administrative costs, that's the lease on your new BMW, or the money that I pay assistants to help us with billing and stuff like that. Money that I pay people to actually produce the product that we're selling goes under cost of goods sold. And then when you subtract sales general and SG&A from gross margin, that's when you get profit or loss or net. Okay, it's important to know those terminologies. Food for thought. There's this 1% video, Paul Krugman's video on the 1% that have all the money in this country, right? You might want to read that. One of the hot topics questions is, do tax cuts provide better jobs and pay? You might want to look at that one. That's an important one. Okay. The bottom line is you want to pick a growing market. Not what's growing today necessarily, what's going to be growing over the next several years. There's a list here of the most profitable small businesses. You have to be believed to be heard. So right here, you're going to see this. See right here? This is on the web. These are all my customers. It's a partial list of all my customers. Okay. Module 2, first things first, business planning. You want to familiar yourself with the strategic planning document. We did a video explaining how to do this, I believe, didn't we, Ju?
Which one?
We did a video on this.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And we submitted it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's under semester project.
It's under semester project. Look for it. We did a video on how to do that. Technology and the legal implications. Hey, phones, cell phones, smartphones. 80% of the population within another 2 years is going to have one of those. That's how they're going to do business. You need to consider that in doing your business. Module 3, business plans. Start by filling in your strategy form. And we spent a lot of time making it easy for you to fill it in. So the Adobe PDF has little blocks. You fill that baby in. Now that's the easy part. The hard part is you have to answer these questions. Okay. There's also a chart here which you can see right here, right? Can you see that? Right there? That guy? Okay. There we go. See that chart right there? You want to review that chart because businesses aren't static. They're constantly changing. And you need to keep adapting to the marketplace. And that's what that thing is all about. And I can't get back to my old page. Okay, so now I'm working from memory. Okay. So that's generally speaking the first 3 modules, the key things that you need to know in starting a business. Now, Chu's going to give me the test that you're going to be posting. She's going to be posting, and you're going to have until Friday to complete it. If you read the textbook, which is not particularly a requirement, I may have mentioned this in the first video, that it takes about 2 classes for me to teach you how to create and start a business. And the other classes are based on how do you develop the emotional resiliency to deal when you run against an obstacle or you fail at something. Okay? You might want to read my CV because question number 2 has something to do with my background. Number 3. Okay, you may remember there's a little chart there, 1, 2, 3, 4 chart, right? You want to pick an industry that's growing. That's the critical thing. And you want to pick a subset of the population so that you know the specific part of the market that you're trying to sell to, and create value to. And that's called market segmentation. Number 4 and 5 and 6 are all part of those laws that we have published there. The issue of technology. It used to be when I started out, when I was in my early 20s, we used to plan 20 years out, 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years out. With the advent of technology today, things change so quickly that we have to plan differently, which means that our customer base's requirements are changing more quickly. Customer requirements, another term for that is market. Here's another good one. Think about this. If you had the choice of paying more for gasoline or less for gasoline, and the gas stations were right next to each other, which one would you choose? Okay, I answered that. Oh, here's a good one. I've made this point before, I'm going to make it again. The current implication of most of the material that you're picking up on how businesses should be operated and how we should operate socially or individually, where me first, take care of yourself and don't worry about somebody else. That's a flawed strategy in my view. The evidence shows that if you provide service to somebody else, that's the best way to grow and sustain your business. Okay, number 11 I just answered. Oh, here's another good one. Most people that start businesses start by themselves. And it's called founder syndrome. They develop a business, and then when it comes time to scale it, that struggles, and that's where a lot of businesses fail, because they're not comfortable seeking outside collaboration or outside help. Nobody's an expert at everything. And so you need to develop a mechanism where you're able to work with people that know things that you are better at certain things than you are. A good example is Chu's a lot better at administering this class than I am. Okay, we talk about the envelope, my little envelopes in my face-to-face class. You don't need a bunch of accountants. You don't need 50 pages of financials. You need to take your idea and put it down in very simple terms, and it should fit on the back of an envelope. While we're doing this video, Chu has Shark Tank on the TV over here to the left of me, and when they make their presentations, they don't ask for a full accounting. They ask them to explain the basic transaction, how much money do you make off the basic transaction, how many transactions do you do, and why are you asking for money. All of that will fit on the back of an envelope. This is an interesting question. Will consumers pay more for a product that is Chinese or for the same product if it's Italian? Think about that. Every business, whoever owns or runs a business, should be an expert in two critical factors. One is revenue generation. The owner of the business has to accept full responsibility for generating revenue. The second thing is they have to be technically competent. Those two things business owners have to be good at. This is a good question, number 16. Remember that chart I showed you with the list of my customers? You might want to look at that. Okay, here's another good one. So in the warehousing business, we have a lot of temporary workers. A lot of businesses have temporary workers, like Target, right? Retail people, Amazon, UPS, right? The question is, should they be treated differently than the full-time workers? Not how does it get done today, but how should it be? I'm going to make this crystal clear. You should treat everybody the same way, because those temporary workers are more important to you than your full-time workers, because your full-time workers can't pick up that. Otherwise, you'd have to have too many full-time workers, right? You need to treat everybody the same. Okay. Number 20. Oh, this is a good one. The most important factor in demonstrating the value of a new enterprise when requesting funding. You ready for this? Evidence to support revenue certainty. Patrick's Law. You got that? Good. Okay, Chu. That should take us up through the test and Module 3. I'll see you next week.